The Grand Theatre in Warsaw. The Grand Theatre, National Opera, is a theatre complex and opera company located on historic Theatre Square in Warsaw, Poland. The Grand Theatre in Warsaw is officially one of the largest theatres in Europe. The theatre was inaugurated on February 24, 1833, with the production of Rossini's The Barber of Seville. After the building's bombing and near-complete destruction in World War II, the theatre was rebuilt, and the building reopened on November 19, 1965, after having been closed for over 20 years. History. The theatre was built on Theatre Square between 1825 and 1833, replacing the former building of Mary Will, from Polish classicist designs by the Italian architect Antonio Corazzi of Livorno, to provide a new performance venue for existing opera, ballet and drama companies active in Warsaw. The building was remodeled several times and, in the period of Poland's political eclipse from 1795 to 1918, it performed an important cultural and political role in producing many works by Polish composers and choreographers. Evolution of Polish opera. It was in the new theatre that Stanisław Moniuszko's two best-known operas received the premieres, the complete version of Halka and The Haunted Manor. After Frédéric Chopin, Moniuszko was the greatest figure in 19th-century Polish music, for in addition to producing his own works, he was director of the Warsaw Opera from 1858 until his death in 1872. While director of the Grand Theatre, Moniuszko composed the Countess Verbum Nobile, The Haunted Manor and Paria, and many songs that make up 12 Polish songbooks. Also under Moniuszko's direction, the wooden summer theatre was built close by in the Saxon Garden. Summer performances were given annually, from the repertories of the Grand and Variety theatres. Joseph Szydlewski writes that during this time, even though the country had been partitioned out of political existence by its neighbours, the theatre flourished. The ballet roused the admiration of foreign visitors. There was no equal troupe of comedians to be found between Warsaw and Paris, and Modrzejewska was an inspiration to drama. The theatre presented operas by Władysław Wileński, Ignacy Jan Paderewski, Karol Szymanowski and other Polish composers, as well as ballet productions designed by such choreographers as Roman Turksinowicz, Piotr Zajdlik and Felix Parnell. At the same time, the repertoire included major world opera and ballet classics, performed by the most prominent Polish and foreign singers and dancers. It was also here that the Italian choreographer Virgilius Calleri produced Pan Twardowski, which has for years been part of the ballet company's repertoire. During the 1939 Battle of Warsaw, the Grand Theatre was bombed and almost completely destroyed, with only the classical facades surviving. During the Warsaw Uprising of 1944, the Germans shot civilians in the burnt-out ruins. The plaque to the right of the main entrance commemorates the suffering and heroism of the victims of fascism. Buildings restoration. Between 1945 and 1965, the company performed on other stages while the theatre building was being restored and expanded to the designs of Bohdan Niewski, under the supervision of Arnold Seifman. When the restored theatre was opened to the public on November 19, 1965, it was one of the most imposing and best-equipped state-of-the-art theatres in Europe. The Polish National Opera was the largest theatre in the world. Completion of facade according to Antonio Corazzi's 1825 plans. The Grand Theatre's front facade was meant to feature a triumphal sculpture of Apollo, patron of the arts, driving a chariot drawn by 4 horses. However, the defeat of the November uprising caused the idea to be abandoned. The platform above the main entrance, meant for the quadricycle Quadriga remained empty for nearly 200 years. Finally, in 2002, at the initiative of the Grand Theatre's then General Director, Waldemar Dabrowski, the sculpture that had been envisioned many years earlier came to adorn the facade. The new, contemporary Quadriga was designed by professors at the Warsaw Academy of Fine Arts, the rector, Adam Mijak, and the dean of the sculpture department, Antoni Janus Pastwa. The sculpture was unveiled by Polish President Aleksander Kwaśniewski on May 3, 2002, to mark Constitution Day. The company today. For over 170 years the Grand Theatre has been Poland's grandest opera and ballet institution. Opera. The Polish National Opera at the Grand Theatre continues its 200-year tradition, producing works by Polish composers from Karol Kerpiński, through Stanislaw Moniuszko, to Krzysztof Penderecki. However, classic operas are also well represented. The company's repertoire includes the best operas by the major figures of opera, past and present. Ballet. The Warsaw Ballet Company has worked with major international figures in the world of ballet as well as with many Polish choreographers, such as Leon Wo-Isakowski, Stanislaw Miszczyk, Witold Gruka and Emil Wesolowski. The Grand Theatre plans to inaugurate each new opera season with a Moniuszko Gala in honor of the composer and historic opera company director. Facilities at the National Opera. The National Opera features 2 auditoriums and a museum. The Stanislaw Moniuszko Auditorium, which seats 1,841, is the primary venue for opera, ballet and theatre performances, which run annually from September through June-July. The Emil Malinowski Auditorium seats 248. The National Museum, accommodated in former main-floor ballrooms, is the country's sole theatre museum. Before the building stand 2 statues by Jan Szytepkowski, of Wojciech Boguslawski, the father of Polish National Theatre, and of Stanislaw Moniuszko, the father of Polish National Opera.